I've covered Mario, and I've covered Zelda, so of course, I need to cover the original Sonic the Hedgehog. When it comes to Sonic, especially the original games, there's been so many different collections of them in every console imaginable. So with that, you would think that that's a pretty iconic game and something worth going back to, right? Well, don't worry, I'm doing the homework for you. I busted out the old GameCube and my Sonic Mega Collection to boot up the original Sonic the Hedgehog and figure out just this question. Is the original Sonic Hedgehog worth playing in 2025? Uh-oh, Sega. What can that mean? I guess Sonic Team Presents kind of ruined it. Yes, this is the OG, the original Sonic the Hedgehog. We're jumping right in. Oh my gosh. Hang on. Gotta stop to admire. Just that beautiful soundtrack. Let's go. Here we go. Ready? Okay, that's enough of that. I'm gonna have to turn that down so that I don't get sidetracked in the video. Gosh, the original Sonic, it's wild. So this is gonna be different from the Mario and Zelda video I did the last 2 weeks, because this game is a game that I have a lot of nostalgia for. But I did not even start liking Sonic until maybe a couple months ago. For real, I'm 25 years old now, and or 24. I turned 25 this year. But I didn't even start to really get like nostalgic for Sonic and enjoy the games until the last couple months. It's a whole side story I'll tell one day. But I freaking love Sonic. And as a kid, I did not love Sonic. I most certainly thought it was like, I thought it was dumb. I didn't understand it. And that was more so, I gotta get, nope. I gotta get, there we go. I gotta get that Chaos Emerald, brother. Oh, that one's easy, man. That one's easy. But the thing that I got hung up on with Sonic for so long was the marketing, the way that it campaigns the game, everything. I was made, because, Sonic, you gotta go fast. Sonic's gotta go fast. So I grew up thinking the whole time that's how it was supposed to be. That, you just run and, that's the game right there. You just run. And when I was dying and I couldn't figure things out and it was just like, obviously doing very terribly, I was like, this game sucks. I don't get how people are so, love this game so much. How do people devote their whole lives to Sonic? And it's just because it's a good game, I just didn't know how to play it. That is very much not the case. You do not want to just run as fast as you can. It's still a 2D platformer. It's still, you have to take your time. Like, there's times you can, like, obviously in Green Hill Zone, there's far less enemies and distractions in some of the other later, areas, like Labyrinth Zone, Marble Zone, Spring Hill Zone. I'm trying to name them all now. It's a little different, but golly, can I just say the soundtrack is obviously full of bangers. It's a classic. Soundtrack wise, the game has not missed a step. The game still puts out awesome songs, and you could even argue that they kind of tend to rely more on like collections and past songs and remixes versus new songs. I'm not saying that they do that all the time. There are still some decent modern songs. But, this was the era, the golden era of Sonic, really. I don't know if fans would label it as such, but as someone that's just recently come into Sonic, I know that might be wrong of me to say. Like, you haven't been a fan for very long, you can't say that. I partially got into it because of, the Sonic 3 movie coming out, but also because there's a YouTuber that, Need on the Rocks that I got into recently for just, unrelated but cool guy. But yeah, I'll get back to the whole thing that we're trying to, we do have a little boss theme here, that's cool. The question that we're trying to answer here in the video. Well, darn. But I'll get back to the main thing that I wanted to talk about in this video, obviously. Is Sonic, the first Sonic, still worth playing? Obviously, it's got some... Oh, brother. I forgot to go back and grab these rings last time. Even having one ring would have helped right there. As long as you can get one ring, you'll be fine. And then I lose my ring. So what is... Okay. Wow. Game over. That's... I promise you I'm not that trash. I'm not... I'm so used to... Okay. That's embarrassing. I'm used to the Sonic... I normally play on Sonic Origins collection, but I didn't want to bring my Xbox in here. Okay, so forgive me. We're going to redo this. So much for getting that first Chaos Emerald. I'm sure I'll probably get it again because, you know, Green Hill Zone 1 is like the easiest Sonic level ever, obviously. But is Sonic worth playing today? Like, is the original Sonic worth playing? And honestly, that's something that I feel like is answered a lot easier than the Mario and Zelda games that I covered in the past. Those did offer kind of like the original Zelda offered something different, yes, but it was also considerably harder, considerably, you know, less hints, less guides. And Mario was just, I mean, it's just a Mario. It's just something to sit down and play when you have like, you know, 10-15 minutes before work, you know. With Sonic, it's much different. You have the ease of being able to sit down and just play a couple minutes before work. You know, the levels are fairly short. But at the same time, you don't have the stress of it being that difficult or needing a guide for anything. You know, there's a little more variety in the gameplay, the worlds, the soundtrack, the music, which is the same thing as the soundtrack, just the visuals, everything. This game is much more colorful and beautiful than the original Mario game. I never thought I would say this, maybe not modern games, but I feel like at least the original, like you could take the original 3 Mario games versus the original 3 Zelda or Sonic games, and I'm probably gonna choose to take the original 3 Sonic games, even though Mario Bros 3 is one of my favorite games ever, you know, favorite Mario game potentially outside of Mario Sunshine. The Sonic games just give you that charm, like they give you that vibe, that just, I don't know, it's hard to say. It's hard to put my finger on. And again, this isn't even a game I grew up with, so that should tell you how awesome this game is. I'm not here to just glaze up Sonic the whole time, I promise. The first game definitely is not Sonic 2. It's not Sonic 3 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I think those games, from a subjective or an objectively, those games made it better. Those games, obviously having Tails in there was awesome. Knuckles, the gameplay, the way everything works. I get it. From a different point of view, like just for me, the simplistic idea of like, okay, it's just the classic Sonic. Like it is Sonic 1. It's where everything started. Sorry, I got quiet there. I didn't want to die again. I guess I'll be honest, I'm not that great at the Sonic games. One of the main reasons I was able to play it and everything was the Origins collection, because it's considerably easier on there. No lives. I feel like it's easier to get rings. Also just, you know, more modern controls. The spin dash. The spin dash was not even in the original game. Oh, does that say Act... Okay, Act 1. The screen was glitching out. I was like, Act 11? I'm going to be honest, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I'm a bigger Marble Zone fan than most people. I think it's actually pretty solid. I actually really like the music. I've got it on my playlist. And I don't think it's that hard. I mean, I don't hear anyone arguing that it's difficult. It's definitely no Labyrinth Zone, but I think it's pretty neat. For those asking, I am playing this by way of the Sonic Mega Collection on GameCube. I actually have it on GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. Even though I believe PS2 and Xbox, it was the Sonic Mega Collection Plus. You know, you can play Sonic 1, 2, and 3, Sonic and Knuckles. You can play Mr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. I forgot you can play the Mean Bean Machine. You can play Flicky, Sonic Pinball, Sonic 3D Blast. I'll be honest, I didn't get to play this game a whole lot as a kid because my cousin actually had this game. I had 2 cousins, and one cousin I had a lot of memories with. We played like Mario Party and Mario Kart. He'd always let me borrow games. My other cousin would not let me borrow crap. Like, just was like, no, I'm going to keep it. So it's one of the reasons why I hardly ever got to play Sonic, was because he didn't want to let me borrow the game. And he also had Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. I never got to play those, never grew up with them until an adult, and that's, you know, backstory. That's part of my origin story, why I don't like Mario Galaxy. But with Sonic, like, I feel like a lot of people, a lot of Sonic fans just grew up with it as kids. Like, that's just how it was, you know? Like, you loved Sonic as a kid, you're always nostalgic for it, and you love Sonic as an adult. And that's just how it wasn't that way for me. I had very, very little experience with Sonic, and the original Sonic even more so. I actually, the game that I played the most as a kid, the Sonic game, was Sonic Heroes, and that should tell you something. And then the next closest would be Sonic 3, and then Sonic Knuckles, because my parents had some kind of weird, like the PC version of the game on Windows XP. And I thought that was cool. So I grew up liking Knuckles. I didn't even hardly know who Tails was till my brother. I remember my brother decided one day randomly we would get like points to spend on the Wii shop at my grandma's house. Like, she'd give us a certain amount of points every like couple months, or like if we did good on the report cards. And for no reason, like, my brother didn't even like Sonic, but he was just like, oh, I need something to spend my money on, I'm gonna get Sonic 2. And then I remember playing that one with Tails, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. It's got the yellow guy. Where is Knuckles? Why isn't he in this game? But now, like, Tails is like, he's my guy, man. I love Tails. But the first Sonic still did a lot of good for the franchise. Obviously, it did so well because it got, you know, 3 games after that, and then, you know, and Sonic and Knuckles. It got Sonic CD. You know, think about how many games have come after that. Like, how many Sonic games there are. Like, you can't find a console that doesn't have Sonic on it, unless you go way back, like the 64, you know, the NES, the SNES. Okay, that's because they were still competing with Nintendo at the time. But, and then think about how crazy it is, the idea that Sonic showed up in Smash Bros. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. As a kid, that didn't, like, I was just like, oh, okay, he's another gaming figure. Of course he's going to be in those games. But I didn't know the history. Like, that's baffling if you think about the history with everything. But I guess I'm oh no, I guess I'm escaping the original point. What's stayed the same, what's changed? Honestly, not a lot has changed, and yet in some ways there is a lot that's changed. Like I said, I'm not some huge Sonic, like, I don't go way back with it. I just recently started falling in love with it. So there's some obvious things that have changed, like the spin dash, you know, having the boost meter. The 3D games changed a lot, and it was very different. But I think it's going to be easier to say what stayed the same. I mean, think about how many times they reused the Green Hill theme, how many times, you know, they use remixes of the classic games tracks and songs, and how many times they do throwbacks to Green Hill Zone. You know, how many times that's, you know, like other games that's appeared in besides the original Sonic. I think Sonic in 2025 is definitely still worth your time. Now, if you're not very good at the game like me, you might want to consider picking up the Origins or Origins Plus like I have, because then if you're not good at the game, you can experience it. And I know some people have problems with things like that, but when you're talking like original games, like old games, not all of them were made with accessibility and like difficulty in mind. Some of them were just like, we're just making a game, we're gonna see how it turns out, you know, like it's the first game in the series, and so that's why I think original, like, first games in the series they always get remade the most, because it's the original game, it's the thing that started it all. They get remade, they get mastered, they get ported. Okay, finally, I did it. Maybe I'll at least beat Marble Zone while I'm at it. And I think, oh gosh, no, I can't. I lost my shield, but I can't lose any rings. In 2025, it's a better time than ever, I would say. Why would you jump up there? Oh gosh, get the rings, get the rings. Uh-oh. This is where I'm going down. I was gonna say, in 2025, it's a better time than ever to play Sonic. I'm out of lives. Yeah, like I was saying, better time than ever. The recent success of the series, the franchise, the boom, the movies, everything coming out, and not the boom, not the Sonic boom. Don't play Sonic Boom, but you know, the boom of the series. Play Sonic 2, play Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Play the, you know, Sonic Adventure 2. I realized that this also isn't me playing. I realized that it was enjoying the game more than talking about it, but I think that's the signs of a good game, because if I'm not enjoying a game, I'm not focusing on it, and I'm just yabbering, and if I really love a game, it's gonna like take up all my focus. I'm gonna go back to the menu. Like I said, playing this on Sonic Mega Collection, great way to play a lot of good games. Definitely recommend it. I feel like it's an underrated collection, probably because there's so many collections and ways to play the original Sonic games these days, and there's even a couple I haven't unlocked, but I just named the ones I have unlocked. So yeah, that's Sonic the Hedgehog. Sorry I gawked about it so much and got distracted with the soundtrack. I can't help myself. I really feel like when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog, and you could make this argument for 2, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, or CD, all the originals, they're all worth playing because they offer something different. The original Sonic games are a perfect gateway into the newer games. If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to like, consider subscribing, and leave a comment about what you think about Sonic. And if you want to take a step further and contribute to the channel and help support me as a creator, then I really appreciate it. You can go down into the description and check out my Patreon link. And like I did with Sonic, I made 2 videos about the original Mario game and the original Zelda game, both of which I actually found some interesting stuff about it. So both of these are going to be on screen, and consider checking out either one. They're both great. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.